Hi, JMats here, GenerationD20.com, coming to you with an 8-4 Innistrad draft. Um, Still kind of figuring out the format, so maybe 8-4 wasn't the best place for me to be, but it was what was firing, and I don't have a ton of time, so I wanted to get in on one as quickly as I could. Here, Mind Shrieker has the potential to be pretty good. I like the outcasts, but I think you have to take the removal. There isn't a ton of removal in this format, and I don't mind going into red, or even just splashing red for something like Brimstone Volley. So far I've played 4 drafts, all of them Swiss. I won one, and the other 3 I lost one of my 3 rounds. So I'm beginning to get a feel for the format, but I'll tell you, it's an interesting format and a fun format, but it's really hard to read as to what is going to end up being successful. So werewolves, I have mentioned before that I like those. Midnight Haunting is a really good card, and even like Crossway Vampire, Woodland Sleuth, those would be good as well. I think I'll go with the red card, um, just because I think it's about as good as the other ones that I mentioned, and it keeps me on one color. Here, um, it's a little overpriced for a 4 if you have a human, though. 4/4 with haste can be nice. Makeshift Mauler is pretty good, as is Silent Departure. Feeling of Dread has its place, and obviously Flight has its place as well. Preferably, I'd like to pair red with either black or green to get the best tribal matchups. So I think I'll take the Night Revelers, even though they're a little bit less powerful, just to cut the color a little bit more, and well, yeah, mostly just to cut the color a little bit more. Here, um, the Blood Crazed Nanonate versus the another Village Ironsmith. It's kind of a tough pick. Also, the Vampire Interloper is pretty good at that spot. Flying 2/1, but he can't block. I kind of like the Nanonate with Brimstone Volley, because you can burn their early cards and then maybe get through. I'll take a chance on it. And here, Curse of Stalked Prey. That's Enchanted Player. I probably have to take that. I also would really like the Villagers of Estwald, but this could just get ridiculous. I'm pairing that with an aggressive red build. And the more aggro I go, the more I think maybe I want to pair it with white, because white has some of the only really like playable 1-drops. Although paired with green, if you paired that with Thicket Wolf or whatever it is, or some other cards, that could be decent. And as long as an opponent controls a human. So Night Revelers is maybe makes the deck. Wouldn't guarantee it. And of course that means I'm going to get another Night Revelers. Ambush Viper could be good. Tormented Pariah. once it gets to 6/4, it's actually pretty good. 3/2 for 4. It's a little bit overcosted. Ambush Vipers, I like that as a answer. But I think again, we go with the red, stay on color, and I'd rather have the Tormented Pariah than the Night Revelers. And all of those creatures will be better if I can get the Curse of Stalked Prey out onto the field early. Just think of this guy's first striking and getting that plus, that bonus. So here, I still haven't gotten into a second color. Delver of Secrets, if I had more instants, might be worth it. Riot Devil is playable. I like this curse actually. It can do some serious damage. And having that as a way to make your early vampires survive some combat is a pretty good trick. I guess I'll take the Vampiric Fury. I have a feeling I'm going to be picking up more and more vampires as we go. Okay, so this one grows. This one potentially has haste. This one's in a color I know I'm playing. This one's not. And this is a way to get a little bit of mana fixing. It's another vampire. So is that. I think I'll take the Traveler's Amulet. Preparing yourself for a mana screw is always a good idea. Boneyard Worm can be good in the right conditions. Spidery Grasp is actually a very good and often a lethal combat trick. I'll take the Spidery Grasp. I've only had a chance to play it once. Here, probably Cobbled Wings. Don't want to overlook the power of flight. Early, that, I mean, puts them on a pretty short clock for, do something or die. And here, if I think there's a chance of me playing blue, it's pretty good. I'll take the Desperate Ravings. I got the Ironsmith back. That makes me happy. Neither of these are going to make my deck. It looks like no one's going for the mill deck if a Dream Twist was still available. Oh, it's an interesting deck. So I went very red, which has me werewolf and vampire currently. And the nice thing about the Curse of Stalked Prey is it's a creature, it's not specific to vampires, even though that seems to be kind of a vampire not trait necessarily, but a vampire skill, or I don't even know what it would be called. It's not a, maybe an ability, an innate ability. Okay, so a little bit more removal. A big bad creature. Rage Thrower can be good. It's just a little overcosted in my opinion. Probably should take the Torch. I really want to take the Grizzled Outcast. I want to make it a werewolf deck. Of course, there's also Corpse Lunge, which is solid removal. I'll take the Blazing Torch. It keeps my options open. Okay, Instigator Gang for my deck, absolutely. And when he flips, it just gets kind of crazy. Couple other cards I wouldn't mind having here, the Blood Crazed and the Juggernaut, but I mean clearly that's the card for me from that pack. Here, there's something to be said for that. And something to be said for this. I'm a little low on creatures at this point, so I think I'm going to go with the werewolf and try to load up, and that might be available later. Those go pretty late. Okay, here, Geist Flame versus Villagers. Right now I'm low on 3 drops. And, I mean, obviously also that. I'm going to go with the Villagers. I want to get my werewolf quota a little higher. And that way if I use some of those Moon Mist or Full Moon's Rise, I can get extra value out of it. And of course now one comes up, but I'm going to take the Geist Flame. Ambush Viper would also be a decent pick at this point. But the flashback ability of Geist Flame really can come in handy. Are there any cards here which I know I'm not going to play? I would guess I'm not playing Desperate Ravens. Vampiric Fury is iffy, as is Night Revelers. I'm getting less and less vampire-y and more werewolfy, which I am okay with as a theme. More than okay with. I actually like a lot. Hopefully I can pick up some 4-drops or the like. Prey Upon is probably the pick here. Dark Thicket Wolf would also be good, but a little bit more removal, which can be kind of hard to come by. We have Brimstone Volley, Prey Upon, Geist Flame. None of them are really knocking out of the park removal. Excited about Instigator Gang. That seems like a potential game winner. Is there any way that... I don't think there's any spell that flips them all back. I mean, except casting 2 spells will, but I don't think there's any way that they can do that mid-turn. It'd probably be good to know that before I went all in on the deck type. Caravan Vigil versus Ranger Skyle. I think probably the Vigil. And a fan stopping by to say hello. So here, there's something to be said for the Ridge Wolf. Definitely something to be said for Ancient Grudge. There are some artifacts out there that can really screw you up, so I think at this point I'll take the Grudge. It's probably a sideboard card, but I want to definitely have that option. And then probably take the Cool Razor, not that I'm going to play it, just to get it out of the way. Bramble Crush is can be decent. There are a lot of other things that can be challenging other than creatures, but I think I would rather go with that. And the vampire making other things unblockable, I think I'm okay with that. I would have gotten an ancient grudge anyway. I think I'll take the patrol, and I got the full moon's rise. Didn't get the moon mist back, which is too bad. Although used against me, it probably is not going to be that beneficial. Oh my, I just got one of those cards. It's just so ridiculous to have a flashback on a fireball. But hey, I'll take it. None of my rares that I opened were exceptional yet. I mean, I'm very happy with the Instigator Gang, which I got past. So it's nice to get my hands on something straight out of the pack that I can use. Here, probably the Reckless Waif. Good thing about it is if you can play something on turn one, there's a lot of times your opponent cannot. So he sometimes will flip even when your other cards aren't going to flip for a while. And then I think something can be said for the Tormented Pariah or the Traveler's Amulet. I say we go with the Pariah. Like, I'm all in on the werewolves. I really want a Moon Mist now to give me that option. Here, probably the Spider. Doesn't necessarily fit the theme of the deck, but I might have trouble with flyers, and it's still a decent card. I guess another Ironsmith. Woodland Sleuth. Also, not be bad. But hey, I want everything to have trample, and a 4/1 trampling first striker. I would take multiples of that. At this point, I think it's safe to say that the Night Revelers is out. This is the Vampiric Fury and the Ancient Grudge. And probably Crossway Vampires. Guess we can wait and see on that. These Cobbled Wings potentially could be out too. Charmbreaker. We're not going to have that many, but getting them to return would probably be worth it. There would be another removal spell. I think I'd rather have the Charmbreaker. And then here, we have another way to make vampires bigger, but we don't have that many vampires. Caravan Vigil would be some more ramp, potentially. We're kind of low on 3-drops. I'll take him. Just we play him with even a couple more vampires. It can get pretty nasty. This guy, absolutely. That'd be nice also, but this guy just killed me last time I played him. That could be useful. Of all the cards there, I think that's the most likely to get in. Um, Orchard Spirit, I suppose. Not excited about it, but not against it either. You know, that with this could be a whole lot of fun. We're decent on creatures. Probably will have a lot in the graveyard, but I think I'd rather take this guy because he is a nasty wall to get through. I can tell from experience that running up against him for turn after turn with your 5 power creature is just very frustrating. Okay, so the build. Devil's Play, that's pretty obvious. I think Charm Break Demon makes sense. Take our prize and our Instigator back. Crossway Vampire is a maybe. Ricochet is a maybe. Brimstone Volley, absolutely. I think the Village Ironsmiths are for sure. Curse of Stalked Prey, I like. Reckless Waif, Geist Flame. Over here, certainly all of the werewolves are in, and because of that, I think Full Moon's Rise makes sense to be in. Prey Upon makes sense. Blazing Torch makes sense. Then it gets a little bit tougher. I'd say Caravan Vigil, Traveler's Amulet. I'm fine with including a couple things to help fix the mana. As far as the curve goes, we're pretty good at 2. These guys are forced to attack, whereas these guys have options. Might be better taking something that has a little bit of evasion. Maybe take the spider or that. And the cobbled wings. Because we can use, on any of these guys, it can be pretty serious. Gives me a good early game to get out and then just try to hold the line the rest of the way. Okay. We will go with that. Maybe 9-8. And we'll see you in round 1.